The National Electrical Code, specifically Section 400.9, addresses the grounding of receptacles. This section mandates that all receptacles installed in specific locations, such as bathrooms, kitchens, garages, and outdoor areas, must be grounded for safety. This requirement ensures that any fault current will safely return to the electrical panel, tripping a circuit breaker or ground fault circuit interrupter, and preventing electrical shock. Now, considering a customer's argument that an electrical contractor is obligated under the National Electrical Code to reinstall lighting receptacles and switching outlets, it's important to clarify the scope of the code. The National Electrical Code primarily focuses on the safety of new electrical installations and modifications to existing ones. It doesn't generally mandate the replacement of existing code-compliant installations simply because a customer desires a change or has exhausted their contractual allowances. The key factor in determining whether the National Electrical Code applies in this situation is whether the electrical work involves new installations or modifications to existing circuits. If the space has been entirely reconfigured, and the lighting, switches, and receptacles are not being reinstalled in their original locations, then the work constitutes new installations. In this case, the National Electrical Code requirements for new installations, including grounding, circuit protection, and wiring methods, would apply. However, the code does not require the replacement of existing functional devices simply because they are no longer in the desired location. It is reasonable for the electrical contractor to charge for the installation of new lighting, receptacles, and switching outlets, even if they are required by code. This is because the installation of new devices involves the cost of materials, labor, and the contractor's time. It's crucial to communicate clearly with the customer about the scope of work and the associated costs. Explain that the reconfiguration of the space necessitates new installations, which are subject to National Electrical Code requirements. Offer to provide a detailed quote outlining the cost of materials, labor, and any applicable permits. When dealing with electrical installations, there are several key considerations to ensure safety and code compliance. Firstly, grounding is essential. All metallic enclosures, such as junction boxes and panels, must be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current to return to the source. This grounding system should be continuous and effectively bonded to the building's grounding electrode system. Secondly, circuit protection is critical. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, must be properly sized to protect the wiring and equipment they serve. The size of the overcurrent protection device should not exceed the ampacity of the smallest conductor in the circuit. Thirdly, wiring methods must comply with the National Electrical Code. The type of wiring used, such as non-metallic sheath cable, armored cable, or conduit, must be appropriate for the location and application. All wiring must be properly supported and secured, and all connections must be made in approved junction boxes. Fourthly, receptacle spacing should adhere to code requirements. In dwelling units, receptacles must be installed so that no point along the floor line of any wall space is more than 6 feet measured horizontally from an outlet in that space. This ensures that extension cords are not used as a substitute for permanent wiring. Fifthly, lighting outlet location should comply with code. Lighting outlets should be provided in all habitable rooms, hallways, stairways, and attics. The location and type of lighting fixtures should be appropriate for the intended use of the space. When performing electrical work, it's important to follow a systematic approach. 1. Planning the layout. Begin by carefully planning the layout of the electrical system, taking into account the location of lighting fixtures, receptacles, switches, and appliances. 2. Calculating the load. Calculate the total electrical load for each circuit to ensure that the wiring and overcurrent protection devices are properly sized. 3. Selecting the wiring method. Choose the appropriate wiring method for the location and application, considering factors such as moisture, temperature, and mechanical protection. 4. Installing the wiring. Install the wiring according to the National Electrical Code requirements, ensuring that all connections are made in approved junction boxes. 5. Grounding and bonding. Properly ground and bond all metallic enclosures and equipment to provide a path for fault current to return to the source. 6. Testing and inspection. Test the electrical system to ensure that it is working properly and complies with the National Electrical Code. Have the work inspected by a qualified electrical inspector. Several specific National Electrical Code sections are relevant to residential electrical installations. National Electrical Code Section 210.12 covers arc fault circuit interrupter protection, requiring arc fault circuit interrupters to protect branch circuits supplying outlets and dwelling units. National Electrical Code Section 210.8 covers ground fault circuit interrupter protection, requiring ground fault circuit interrupters in bathrooms, kitchens, garages, and outdoor areas. National Electrical Code Section 250 covers grounding and bonding, providing detailed requirements for grounding electrical systems and equipment. National Electrical Code Section 310.15 covers conductor ampacity, providing tables and guidelines for determining the ampacity of conductors based on their size, insulation type, and installation conditions. National Electrical Code Section 404 covers switches, providing requirements for the installation and wiring of switches. National Electrical Code Section 406 covers receptacles, providing requirements for the installation and wiring of receptacles. National Electrical Code Section 410 covers lighting fixtures, providing requirements for the installation and wiring of lighting fixtures. When dealing with customers who are unfamiliar with electrical codes and practices, it's important to communicate clearly and patiently. Explain the code requirements in simple terms, avoiding technical jargon. Provide written documentation such as a copy of the relevant National Electrical Code sections or a detailed explanation of the work being performed. Be prepared to answer questions and address any concerns a customer may have. If the customer is still not satisfied, consider offering alternative solutions that comply with the code while meeting their needs. For example, if the customer wants to add additional lighting but has exhausted their budget, you could suggest using energy-efficient light fixtures to reduce their energy consumption and lower their utility bills. If the customer wants to install receptacles in the location that is not easily accessible, you could suggest using wireless receptacles or power strips. Remember that the goal is to provide a safe and code-compliant electrical installation while meeting the customer's needs and expectations. Open communication and a willingness to work together can help resolve any disagreements and ensure a positive outcome. It is very important to be polite while explaining to the customer that the National Electrical Code does not mandate replacing existing lighting receptacles or switching outlets. Inform them that reconfiguring the space requires new installations, which will require separate purchases. Offer to provide a quote for the additional work to maintain a professional and transparent relationship. Now let us discuss further on how to communicate with the customer in the most effective way. 1. Be patient and understanding. The customer may not be familiar with electrical codes and practices, so be patient and understanding when explaining the situation. 2. Use clear and concise language. Avoid using technical jargon or complex terms that the customer may not understand. 3. Provide written documentation. Provide the customer with written documentation, such as a copy of the relevant National Electrical Code sections or a detailed explanation of the work being performed. 4. Be prepared to answer questions. Be prepared to answer any questions the customer may have and address any concerns they may raise. 5. Offer alternative solutions. If the customer is not satisfied with the initial proposal, offer alternative solutions that comply with the code while meeting their needs. 6. Maintain a professional attitude. Throughout the communication process, maintain a professional and courteous attitude to build trust and rapport with the customer. Let us talk about some recommendations for a customer that has exhausted their lighting allowance and wants more lighting without paying for it. 1. Explain the contract terms. Clearly explain to the customer that they have exhausted the lighting allowances under the contract and that any additional lighting will need to be purchased separately. 2. Offer a detailed quote. Provide the customer with a detailed quote for the additional lighting, outlining the cost of materials, labor, and any applicable permits. 3. Suggest energy-efficient options. Recommend energy-efficient lighting options that can help the customer save money on their energy bills in the long run. 4. Explore financing options. If the customer is unable to pay for the additional lighting upfront, explore financing options that can help them spread the cost over time. 5. Be flexible and accommodating. Try to be flexible and accommodating to the customer's needs while still adhering to the contract terms and electrical code requirements. 6. Maintain open communication. Keep the lines of communication open and address any concerns the customer may have throughout the process. Now to discuss some code requirements for receptacle spacing in dwelling units. The National Electrical Code specifies requirements for receptacle spacing in dwelling units to ensure that extension cords are not used as a substitute for permanent wiring. According to National Electrical Code Section 210.52, receptacles must be installed so that no point along the floor line of any wall space is more than 6 feet measured horizontally from an outlet in that space. This requirement applies to all habitable rooms in a dwelling unit, including living rooms, bedrooms, and dining rooms. The purpose of this requirement is to ensure that occupants have convenient access to electrical outlets without having to rely on extension cords, which can be a safety hazard. The National Electrical Code also specifies requirements for receptacle placement in specific areas of a dwelling unit. In kitchens, receptacles must be installed on each wall counter space that is 12 inches or wider. Receptacles must also be installed within 3 feet of each sink. In bathrooms, at least one receptacle must be installed within 3 feet of each sink. The receptacle must be ground fault circuit interrupter protected. In laundry areas, at least one receptacle must be installed within 6 feet of the intended location of the washing machine. The National Electrical Code also specifies requirements for the height of receptacles above the floor. In general, receptacles should be installed at a height of 12 to 18 inches above the floor. However, there are exceptions to this rule. For example, receptacles installed in countertops or work surfaces may be installed at a higher height. The National Electrical Code also specifies requirements for the type of receptacles that must be installed in certain locations. In bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas, ground fault circuit interrupter protected receptacles are required to protect occupants from electrical shock. Tamper-resistant receptacles are also required in dwelling units to prevent children from inserting objects into the receptacle slots. Adhering to these code requirements for receptacle spacing and placement is essential to ensure the safety and convenience of occupants in dwelling units. Failing to comply with these requirements can result in electrical hazards and code violations. If you are unsure about the code requirements for receptacle spacing and placement, consult with a qualified electrical contractor or electrical inspector.